This week on the Running Report, Almaz Ayana's unforgettable marathon debut in Amsterdam, Sydney McLaughlin's first interview after the World Championships, results from Nuttycombe Invitational, and more. You're watching the Running Report show on Fan Hub TF. I'm Joshua Ponce, Mr. Poncible, and I'm here to give you the running news produced for and by the culture. Let's go ahead and get right into it as we had marathon madness continue here in 2022. Emily Sisson breaking that American record last week. Then Almaz Ayana goes out there and runs the fastest women's marathon debut of all time. A 2:17:20 moves her, well, not even moves her, places her number 7 all time in marathon history, just a few seconds behind Paris Jepchirchir. This woman has been amazing on the track. She is a 2-time world champion, 1-time Olympic gold medalist, and she is also number 3 all time in the 10,000 meters and the 5,000 meters. Now her move over to the marathon is going to be nothing short from spectacular, and Amsterdam this past weekend is really just a little bit of a taste what we're gonna see from Almaz Ayana going on in the future. Kazembe Dibaba also debuted in the marathon in Amsterdam, so it's really interesting to just see how these women from Ethiopia are transitioning from the track onto the marathon still early on into their careers. They have a lot of time left in this sport, and it's really just telling me that 2:14 that Bridget Koskei really got, like, that ain't sticking around for much longer. That woman's marathon world record is going down, down, and down for sure. Let's talk a little bit more marathon madness, especially on the women's side. With just a week before Ayana's incredible debut, we saw Emily Sisson demolish the women's marathon American record in a 2:18:29 at the Chicago Marathon for a second place finish behind Ruth Chepngetich. Sisson kind of hinted that she wasn't really going for the record, but she still went out there and did her thing. She's been on a tear lately. Earlier this year, she broke the half marathon American record held by Molly Huddle, running a 1:07:11. So she was really set up for this to happen. Kiara D'Amato, Dina Castor, and Joan Benoit Samuelson were all in attendance to see this happen. It was a really cool moment to see the 3 previous women's marathon American record holders in the same vicinity, in the same city of Chicago, to see Sisson take that down. It's gonna be really exciting though once we see D'Amato and Sisson finally line up next to each other. Honestly, it may not be that long when we get to see that D'Amato versus Sisson matchup, because D'Amato just be running so many marathons. She just announced her 4th marathon of 2022, the New York City Marathon, saying that she's proud to wrap up this great season that she has had of world marathon majors, from Berlin to Houston, Texas, to the World Championships, and now finally at the New York City Marathon, we will see the former American record holder run side by side with their World Championship teammates and Emma Bates and Sarah Hall. It's going to be an incredible race on November 6th to see Kiara D'Amato go out there and crush it one more time for this 2022. 18 days out from the New York City Marathon, and the announcements keep on coming. Chris Chavez, the founder of City is Smack, a former Sports Illustrated writer, and I feel like if you don't know about this guy in the track world and you know about the Running Report, like, what are you doing? Former friend of the show as well, is going to be a part of the ESPN broadcast on the men's moto, giving analysis of the men's race, the front pack of the men's marathon. Just super exciting, especially if you are in this little small track world, this little small revolution that running is having through social media. He will also be joined by John Anderson, Lewis Johnson, Dina Castor, Sage Steele, Carrie Tolfason on the ESPN2 broadcast. As well, Kurt Fernley, the 13-time Paralympic medalist, is also joining the team. I just want to say big congrats to Chris Chavez. Definitely going to look forward to his broadcast debut. That's exciting. For some, the fall means cross country, and for others in the track world, it means love is in the air, especially for our 2 this past weekend. 2 big weddings that we've seen track royalty, Tara Davis and Hunter Woodhall, getting married, finally tying the knot this past weekend. And actually on like that same day, we had Sage Herda and Joe Klecker getting married, the 2 US OAC distance stars getting married as well. well. Really just an incredible moment to see these pro athletes, see the human side of them, just enjoying their time, enjoying their off season. But I think the real question is, though, this is for the people: who would win in a 2x400? Like, let's really think about this. You got Tara Davis versus Sage Herta in the 400. Tara is just doing a long jump right now. Sage is running 8s. She's running 8s right now. And then you get Joe Klecker versus Hunter Woodhall in a 2x400 with the baton in the hand. Who is winning that race? Who do you think? I don't know. I think it's a good question. We finally got to hear some real talk out of Sydney McLaughlin after that incredible World Championships performance on Real Talk with Tiara Williams, the biggest Instagram live interview, track interview definitely this year. It was definitely getting like posted everywhere I seen, everywhere throughout the week. Tiara Williams, Sydney McLaughlin, all of this. But it was a great interview, a great show. If you want to watch it back, you got to go to Fan Hub TF or just go to Real Talk, go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and you'll be able to listen back to that great interview that Sydney McLaughlin did, her first one after World Championships. You gotta listen to it, hear about how she talks about her relationship with God and how that brought her closer and just made her a better person overall, and definitely helped her break this record as well. She went out there and she also talks about her future goals, and then she talks about how she's changing her name next season. She's adding her last name from her husband as well, so it's Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. She said it's Italian. It's Italian. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. I think it's gonna take some time to get used to, but you feel me? But we gonna do it. We're gonna do it for Sid the Kid. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. You feel me? Also, she had another interview with NBC Sports, and it gave more indication of where she's going further in her track career. She went out there and said, "I don't think we're going to give up the 400-meter hurdles just yet, but we definitely want to expand to the 400-meter flat and just see what's possible there." That's an eyebrow raiser for sure. I'm definitely excited to see what Sydney is going to do with the 400-meter flat next year, and just gonna be exciting if she just decides, I think it's gonna be exciting too if she's gonna be able just like, I'm gonna do the World Championships there and just take the 400-meter hurdles. I don't know, the dynamics of everything is definitely gonna be interesting, but really excited to see what Sydney does on the 400-meter flat. World record coming soon. What do you guys think? To wrap up the running report for the week, I gotta give a big shout out to Raymond Ornelas. Almazayana may have been the most impressive 2022 marathon debut for a lot of y'all out there, but it gotta be my guy that went out there and got the most impressive marathon debut for me. 2:31:06 to win the Long Beach Marathon. Hey, shout out to Raymond, man. I had to also put this on here for the running report for the people that remember the Rosie Project days. You feel me? This dude was out here leading our team with T Spence that helped us get to NXN and everything like that. And he was dominant in the track that year, and you saw him with the Beach Project and all of that and everything. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Raymond, bro. Just congratulations on your marathon win, bro. Be proud of you for real. And hey, keep up the good work. Hopefully you can do another marathon. We'll bring you on your show. I don't know. I'm gonna do a marathon now. I'm motivated now. I'm gonna do a marathon. You feel me? I definitely ain't gonna run no 2:17. I definitely ain't gonna run no 2:31. But I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna do it. You feel me? The weekly running report is over, and it's time to dive deeper into some running report news. And this week we're here with Elizabeth Hernandez, alum of Cal Poly Pomona and cross country, as the grad assistant at DePaul University, and also 2021 Magic Boost class alum. She was in there with me, the best class I would have to say of Magic Boost. We did our thing, but let's get right into it. We had Nuttycombe this past weekend. The women's side, it was crazy, like went right down to the wire, a tiebreaker all the way to the fourth woman in that race, had the victory for the NC State Wolfpack over the New Mexico Lobos, 80-80, but that 1-2 punch of Caitlin Tui and Kelsey Chimel get the dub and just carrying that entire team. But what I gotta ask you, 80-80, NC State, former champions, trying to get that back-to-back win. Is it a big deal that they had this tie with New Mexico here at Nuttycombe?
I think it is an incredibly big deal. So when you look at the results, there's a 41-second spread time between Caitlin Tui, who won the race and was the first runner, right, for NC State, and their fifth runner, so 41 seconds. And New Mexico only had 13. So, their top five were like coming in within maybe 16 spots. and it wasn't that like tight for the Wolfpack. So it's kind of a crazy thing to say, but the Wolfpack wasn't really running as a pack. And I think New Mexico definitely ran a better pack. So I don't know if like Lobos is, the Lobos are running a better pack than the Wolfpack. So yeah, I think that's kind of scary because I don't think NC State was expecting them to like show up and show out as they did, because they definitely did. And like one wrong move for NC State could have cost them the Nuttycombe title, which obviously isn't as important as like regionals or nationals, but I don't think they were expecting New Mexico to do that well. Like, I'm sure they're probably all like standing at the finish line, like, oh, dang, here we go. Now we have to wait, instead of just winning.
Well, I think it's crazy too. I think the one thing you forgot to notice out was that Marley Starlipper not being in that NC State lineup. Like, what do you think like she's gonna factor in putting back into that lineup eventually at regionals or even at conference or regionals, and whatever reason she was out of the lineup? But her not being in for NC State is a vital part. Was she their third man or fourth man at the Joe Pine Invitational when they beat New Mexico outright? So that may change a lot of things where it may not be that big of a deal. I don't know. You feel me?
Yeah. So at the Joe Pine Invitational, she was their fourth runner. And even though that was just a 5K, it makes a difference, right? Like you have one more person there on the line with you that has like this depth and experience. So I think, hopefully, you would think they race a full squad, maybe not at conference, but at regionals. So with Marley and like their whole like scoring squad, I think NC State has more of like a solid chance. Like you have one more teammate out there with you. But I think this performance at Nuttycombe just makes New Mexico like that much more hungry. Like they all have this going in their heads, like, dang, like we just almost beat them.
It's going to be a super like close race overall at the championship, and I think the race is going to be even closer on the men's side when we see that line up, because I'm looking at this race right now and I don't know, let me tell you, through and through, my oldest brother, he was a lumberjack. You feel me? I'm rooting for the lumberjacks. But Liz, is the NAU streak over? The past two big meets this season, first at the Cowboy Jamboree, now at Nuttycombe, BYU and Stanford beat NAU straight up, head to head. You feel me? Like straight up. Is the NAU streak over, Liz?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't as close as the race on the women's side, right? It was kind of heartbreaking if you're an NAU fan to see Nico Young get beat like that. It was really close, but like it was Kai, right, who won? Mm-hmm. Kai, then Nico, then third place was Stanford. So like Nico was like in this Stanford sandwich. And I just want to know where NAU's sandwich is, Like NC State has their 1-2 punch. So yeah, I think, NAU has to really show up when it comes to nationals. I'm sure all these teams will be there at nationals, right? Like that would be a crazy upset if they don't make it. So when all these teams show up, NAU has to go crazy if they want to like come back. NC State has to just like do what they've been doing, but better, because New Mexico is about to they're trying to get that title.
Yeah, and on that men's side too, like the scoring of seeing like Stanford score 54, BYU 89, NAU a 145. Air Force was literally 4 points on NAU. All respect to Air Force, they were dominating. They're killing it this year. You feel me? But they were right there next to NAU. NAU almost got fourth in this race. It's really crazy to see, but I know people are really raving about Stanford this past weekend. But I think I'll be remiss to not really mention how BYU, for me, low-key, they're like the favorites. They won Cowboy Jamboree earlier this year with Casey Klinger in the lineup. This time around, Casey Klinger not in the lineup, and they still finished this close to Stanford. But Stanford do got a cool 1-2-3. I gotta tell you, they got a cool 1-2-3. But I don't know. BYU is doing their thing. It's gonna be exciting once we get the NCAA's. I really can't wait.
Yeah, with Casey Klinger racing, BYU is definitely stronger, right? So they're maybe just resting him at Nuttycombe. So hopefully he won't be resting at nationals,
No, yeah, most definitely. But Liz, I appreciate you joining us here on the Running Report show. Definitely. Now, we're for sure going to run this back for sure, down the road. Not just talking about NCAAs, but NCAA cross country, but probably talking about a whole bunch of different topics on this new iteration of the Running Report going forward. I hope everybody enjoyed everything going on with the Running Report going forward as well. But Liz, I really do appreciate you joining us this week. It's been a pleasure.
For sure. Can't wait to run it back.
Yeah, let's do it.